All right, it is just after 10 o'clock. E from marketwizards.com and eminywizard.com. 12th of April, 2019, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. We said it would probably get a two-way day. And first things first, let's think of that 1475 as our primary target. Could get gravy above that today before we're done, but make sure you're paid that 12.5 to 1475, 15 area. Looking at the predictive model, said we probably will get a reasonable pullback. Think of it as a two-way day because of the travel range, but it would be very hard to guess when and where. And I said, make sure you're paid with news by news time. By 15 or by the news time. Here we are with a nice little pullback, range type trading. And we said probably let's use that 07 area as a very aggressive support. Make sure you're paid there. What you're trying to do is not, if you get your 3 or 4 or 5 points and you think you've got a winner, you want to trail it, that's up to you. But normally, you're better off hit and run in this type of an environment. And you know you're going to leave some chips on the table, but what you're trying to do is at least accumulate 2, 3, 4 points and lock it. If you got a trail and you want to work it, fine. But in a day like today, you're probably better off trying a couple of trades, thinking small, rather than like one big one. So this is the predictive model. And showing us the beginning of the extreme range up here. And we said, let's think for now 17 as aggressive resistance because it does show up as a target. So anybody that's played short side, make sure you're paid coming back in to this 10 area right there. And I'm going to show you another chart that will tell you why. That's a good place to make sure you're paid. Remember that chart yesterday we had talked about where we had that 70, let's think of 70 support and 85 middle and a 2900. Look at the range now where that 09 and a quarter comes in, right in here. So that's got to be your first interval support. And then back here at the 3.5 and the 02 area. And then the retest down here. So I like this chart to say to me, think small. I told you, if you get 5, 6 points on a rabid dog day, you've done well. And you overstay it, and then all of a sudden you get another new high and say, God, I gave it all back. Just the bots will drive you nuts in this business because they don't care about buying high and selling higher. There's your 5-minute chart. There's the IB low. Support until broken. We said, let's give it 1 point below it. And this type of day, it'll drive you nuts because it'll be whack-a-mole and choppy. Very rarely will you get a just dramatic reversal. And I have seen them, but they're very rare. There's a 5-minute, which is a very aggressive chart for the Globex. There's a 10-minute chart, which I believe is a beautiful chart to show us today's move. Got above the rain line, boom, gotcha, 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 gotcha. And this is showing me that 05 as an important area, so that's why I've selected that. Do not beat your brains out today. Don't think you're going to fight the odds and you're going to get yourself a 20-point crash. Boom. If you get that, I'd be very surprised. It's like odds for that are like 1%. As I'm saying that, I'm thinking of the old Curt Gowdy trick. Just when Curt Gowdy would say something like that, boom, you get a crash. Wow. But you got to play the odds. You can't count on that. That was yesterday. Every short in the world right now is thinking about yesterday and saying, I want that bar. I want that bar. That was the sucker bar to get everybody to buy into shorting and then squeeze today to get up here. Nasty game. Thank you, Huss, for your posts. NQ lagging again today. I noticed that, Zeek. Hit a slightly new high and then pulled back. About 10:15, and we've got a range trade, 2 day, with limited range for the downside, I believe. First objective is try to get to this line, this 875, and if you can get back into that 9.25 to 875, make sure you're paid. Nice post, Seek. Paid for sure, 975 to 875. And you get one of these trades that'll work for a little bit more than you think, and then you're right back into it usually. For now, range type trade, don't think I'm beating the drum for the long side as they're all important and I love the long side. I just have learned how they play this game and throw the thing up there. And then that's where Charlie buys into, yeah, we got to buy. And then that's when they nip you. And then, okay, we're going short. And then they'll go back the other way. So I said today would be very hard. Because they love to play this game. They love to get everybody chasing. Then you get your back in fill trade, and then you kind of get the resumption of the trade. So that's one of the reasons you want to spread your trades out time-wise. Payday, we said, by 12.5 to 14.75. That idea's worked. 17, we said, use for resistance as that is our next potential target. So you leave it there until broken. And we could have just a nasty chop day. What I am not expecting to see happen today, and if I'm wrong, is close the gap. I don't think we'll close that gap. And if we do, I'd be very surprised. Today's middle is already set up here at 275, and back in at that 2,900 is the 60 back and a half gap. You got that today. That's a phenomenal trade. But again, all this was done in low volume overnight fluff, so you never know. I just think the fix is in. And I, for one, hate the idea of encouraging traders to keep buying these higher lows, but until it stops, that's the game. So that's why I've said get your 2 or 3 or 4 points, get out of the way, and don't beat your brains out in an egregious day like this. They've set up most traders to fail today. Certainly the early shorts they set up to fail, and probably the late longs today. And we've got currently back into this 10 to 8 area, very important zone. And I've got that 5 back here as obviously our next, let me put this on a 15, get better perspective. So resistance above us, fighting box, and now we're back into this range, which is our support box. I'll leave it like this for a minute. And if we come down close to here, I'm going to just slide all these down. My guess is fairly choppy as opposed to a big range. Back and fill and pump again, and back and fill and pump again, and two-way non-action. There's a 2-minute chart. And I'm just guessing, just trying to see a fast chart because we'll see ideas first on a fast chart. There's a 3. There's a 4. And here's our normal chart, the 5. You can see we're coming into the green line, but look how stretched we are from yesterday. That's part of today's challenge. So far stretched. So that's why I've encouraged you to think a small range. Doesn't mean it's bearish, certainly, and it's just hard to keep encouraging you to buy up here. So on a day like today, some traders say, screw it, I'm not even trading. I'm going to go play golf. Did what I wanted to do, but I missed it. All right, so I accept it. Looking at this chart, you can see that this angel and demon RTH right in this 12 area. Right there. So there's a better case to be made for very choppy type trading than there is for a plunge, because it's going to wait and they may come back a little bit, but the red line's going to come up and then the blue's going to come up, and we're still going to be extended from rain. But until we get a news event or we get more time elapsed, and then all of a sudden one time you'll get that little slipper back and then another lower high, and it'll just kind of, like we did this yesterday. Nothing, boom, gotcha. And then it'll be another buy, just like yesterday. My best call right now is stolen range, that we're going to have very limited range to work with right now in IB. Said that before we even started. Think's very small. It's just annoying. And buying pullbacks is the technique, and drop losers. Don't be afraid to be wrong. And then spread your trades out. So if you've already made something long side, took your profits like we suggested, you don't have to buy right now for another trade. You can wait half an hour. See if you have a better opportunity, buy a little bit lower. And if not, okay, so you missed it. No big deal. Damn it. Thank you, Zeek. Zeek thinks that the NQ is waving a red flag. I think we've got one more buy opportunity today, and it may be lower than where we are. And if you're not afraid to miss, then you just be patient. I think the biggest challenge is getting a very tight range and just chop. And we said by definition, we are going to use O2 as our aggressive support. If we bust O2, then we know that we're talking about the 98 to O2 range as all important to decide what's next.